What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode here on Wide Eye Sports. Today, we are talking who will be the Minnesota Vikings QB1 at the start of the 2025 season. This is kind of a cold open for these guys, Riley and Steve. They did not know what we were talking about on this episode today. So I'm going to move my camera here a little bit because I want to show off the bling in the background. Obviously, big Vikes fan here. Riley, Steve are not Vikes fans, Bears and Chiefs respectively, as you can see on the screen. That being said, this is a Minnesota Vikings podcast here on Wide Eye Sports. We talk Vikings, we talk Chiefs, we talk Bears, we talk Cowboys every single week. So, first things first, who will be the Vikings starter week 1 of the 2026 season? Let me preface this whole debate and whole conversation we're about to have with the following. I believe J.J. McCarthy will be the starter come week 1 of the Minnesota Vikings season. That being said, there are plenty of other avenues that the ownership and the coaching staff can go down. And there's only really one other one that I would be okay with. And that is if Kyler Murray was released by the Cardinals, I would be totally fine with them bringing him in for an open competition with J.J. McCarthy. I think that there would be nothing better for the team than a guy like Kyler Murray, who's talented, former number 1 overall pick, coming in on his last legs and having something to prove to either push McCarthy to be better or he beats McCarthy out and he's the starting quarterback. Both ways, I feel like the Vikings win. However, there have been a plethora of other things that Vikings fans and media have been throwing out there. Have you guys heard any of these? Have you seen any of these?
I have heard one, and I think I like it better than the Kyler Murray one.
What was yours? What's on yours?
And I only say this because I think if Kyler Murray goes to Minnesota, he beats out J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Easy.
The one I had heard was bringing Aaron Rodgers in. As experience.
Look at him. He's so upset.
But J.J. McCarthy has a bit of an injury history, and this could be Aaron Rodgers' last chance to play Green Bay twice a year.
So that is one, and I'm going to talk about it at the very end, and that's something that I do have strong thoughts and opinions on, but we're going to get there. The main one, other than Kyler Murray, that I've seen from most fans and most media leans into this one, is either trading for or signing a low end, QB2 to come in and compete with J.J. McCarthy and push him from that angle of like, you're not being demoted to QB2, but you do have somebody that can take over if you don't step it up. And a couple possibilities are Marcus Mariota, Joe Flacco, Jimmy G is going to be a free agent. Some of those guys that have experience running NFL offenses and can start and can take that opportunity away. But realistically, you would like to see J.J. McCarthy playing at a higher level than those guys, right? You'd like to see him at the level of those guys starting. A couple trade guys I have heard. Mac Jones, which I'm completely out on. I do not want to trade. He's going for like his price right now is like a second-round pick. I do not want to trade a second-round pick for Mac Jones at all. Like that seems like a waste of a second-round pick, especially with the draft capital we do have and being able to finally build through the draft, because we haven't been able to do that for quite a few years. The last second-round pick we made was Ed Ingram like 4 years ago. That was the last time they made a second-round pick. Last time they made a top 100 pick outside of the first round was Ed Ingram 4 years ago. So they haven't had that top 100 draft capital at all recently. And it's just been it's shown. We've had to go out and get, more expensive free agents, more veteran guys in the past couple of years, which is what they designed in the Kwesi KOC era. They had designed it, 1 year we'll spend in free agency. The next year we'll have draft capital. The next year we'll have free agency. And they kind of staggered it along so they would have a plan. But I do believe that the most likely option is that they'll bring in a veteran free agent quarterback. And until this past week, I thought for sure that was going to be Kirk Cousins. He is pretty much off the board for me altogether. The Vikings are $40 million over the cap, so they got some room, and they can make up room. They get all the way to like $40 million in the good relatively easily with like 4 or 5 moves. And so I'm not worried about them getting cap space, but Kirk's agent has already come out and said, listen, we want $20 million and we want to be the starter. Like that's the baseline. Like we're getting at least 20 and wherever we're going, we're starting. And I don't think the Vikings are going to, one, pay him $20 to $25 million, and two, say, yeah, no, if you come here, you'll be the unquestioned starter. For me, it's like we had the prime version of Kirk Cousins and we weren't winning Super Bowls with him. Why would we stunt JJ McCarthy's growth to go back to a worse version of what we already had? That just makes no sense. On top of having to pay him $20, $25 million, whatever he's going to want.
Even potentially be a backup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's off the table for me. I think that would be a huge step in the wrong direction. That would be a huge step towards, I think, Kevin O'Connell getting fired next year, which I don't want to see. I think he's an amazing coach. I do not want to see him getting fired anytime soon. The last one I bring up is the Rodgers thing. The Rodgers thing for me is Aaron Rodgers had, like, if you strip the quarterbacks away from the Vikings and the Steelers, they're not like the Vikings aren't world better than the Steelers. They're not 6 games better than the Steelers. They're maybe a game, I would say. I would say they have, DK, Justin Jefferson. I would lean Justin Jefferson. I would lean Aaron Jones. The Steelers' O-line is a little better. Our D-line's a little better. Their cornerbacks are a little better. It's very, here or there. So I just watched Rodgers with that team with Mike Tomlin and not succeeding. So I don't think there's a world in which he just comes here and, now the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl. Now we have a real shot at the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers was a check down merchant last year. He succeeded off short, quick hits, making really fast, good decisions at the line. And while that is great, you can get that from a lot of guys. And you can get that level of offense out of McCarthy. Like if you just told McCarthy, hey, we're not headhunting down the field anymore. We're moving the offense to 5 yards and in. McCarthy can do that. But that's not what Kevin O'Connell wants to do. Kevin O'Connell wants his quarterback to sit in the pocket, read the field, and deliver the ball 15, 20, 30 yards down the field on out routes, over the middle, post patterns, option routes. He wants a high complexity offense. And while I think Rodgers' brain could handle all that, his body is not there anymore. It's not what it once was. And so maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they call up Aaron Rodgers. And to be completely honest, even if McCarthy, in some world, if Kyler were to come here, if Rodgers were to come here, whatever, I don't think JJ McCarthy getting benched for like a guy of that caliber means his career's over. I think that means they would take more of a Jordan Love approach, and he would sit for 2, maybe this year and next year, or just this year, but they would be building towards the future. And in this case, you wouldn't have to pay him near as much because you'd have very little, tape on him. You'd have 1 year of tape. So I definitely don't think, unless they go out and sign Kyler Murray to a 4-year, $220 million deal, which I think there's no chance they do that, then I don't think this is the end of McCarthy no matter what. I think it just may be O'Connell saying, listen, you need more time. You need more time. We're going to give you more time. You're going to get practice reps. You're going to actually go through the motions and not just sit in a VR and do it that way. We're going to get you time, and we're going to get you right. And then you'll start in a year. You'll start in a year or two. Because McCarthy's still only 23, right? He'll be 23 this year. So if he sits all this year, he could be 24, making his second year starting in the NFL next year, which wouldn't be crazy. Now, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, he's 25, 26. You're not going to be there. I think that would be too much. But I see Kevin O'Connell as the gospel. I trust him implicitly with this offense and his coaching decisions. And it's now come out that, we've talked about it a little bit, but last year that Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was saying, hey, listen, we drafted McCarthy high. We could spend in other areas if we don't go sign a veteran backup for $20, $30 million. Let's go spend in those other areas and not spend money on a quarterback. And O'Connell was like, listen, we need one of these two guys. And Kwesi said, I'm going to go without him. And if it backfires, it's on me. And it backfired. And it was on him. And he's out now. And that's the price you pay in the NFL. I think Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is a very smart analytics guy, not a smart football guy. I think that's what ended up getting him kicked out. Steve's kind of talked a little bit about how the taking time off and those kinds of things from a football person perspective kind of rubs people the wrong way. But like for a normal person, that's totally valid. Like a Wall Street, that's totally valid. Take time off for your child's birth. That's totally okay. But for football guys who have been grinding since they were, coaches, since they were 25 years old as a coaching assistant and now have worked 15 years in the league, sleeping in their office half the time to try to make a team succeed, watching your boss come in and go, yeah, my kid was born, so I'm going to take training camp from home. I won't be here. So you guys just call me if you need me. It rubs people the wrong way, and people don't tend to react the best to that. But that's in the past. Rob Brzezinski, guy heading up the organization right now, is a great guy. I'm really excited to see what they do. I think this is going to be a good draft for the Vikings. I do firmly believe, though, that JJ will be the quarterback one. Kevin O'Connell, even since the end of the year presser, in his pressers throughout the couple, I think he said 3 pressers. I don't remember which one it was, but he referred to JJ McCarthy as the franchise quarterback. So for O'Connell to say that is different than for Adofo-Mensah to have said it or somebody else. I think O'Connell still believes in what he can do with JJ McCarthy, and that he believes he can get JJ McCarthy right fundamentally. And then because JJ McCarthy's biggest issue was the accuracy with the fundamentals. When the fundamentals break down, you become inaccurate, and that's for every quarterback. So getting those fundamentals super tight is what I believe KOC believes he can do with McCarthy. We'll see. I've seen plenty of flashes from McCarthy where I go, okay, yeah, that's obviously what O'Connell sees in him, and that's why he believes he should be the starter. So we'll see. Do you guys have any predictions for what you think the Vikings will do at quarterback? If you do or if you don't, I don't even know if you do.
I think they roll with McCarthy, but I do have a question. Would you rather Kyler Murray or Tua?
Oh, Kyler Murray, but I don't want Tua anywhere near my organization. My defensive coordinator is Brian Flores, and I don't know if you know about Brian Flores and Tua Tagovailoa's history, but they're now so friendly with each other. I don't want.
I was just gonna say, where did the Vikings O-line finish this year, as far as just like ranking?
20th,
like not 20, great.
Yeah, low 20s, high teens.
Isn't Arizona like at the bottom of that list?
Yeah, and Kyler is definitely a good quarterback. Obviously, he has some poor decision making that would have to be cleaned up, but getting in the room with KOC, who knows what happens there. I've always liked Kyler Murray as a quarterback. I liked him coming out of OU. I like him. I like his style of play. He's very Fran Tarkenton. I love that. Very prime Russell Wilson. I love that style of play. So I'm biased towards that, and I like that. I just don't think he fits Kevin O'Connell's scheme well enough. Like, Kevin O'Connell wants a guy who's going to stand in the pocket and deliver downfield on high-level concepts, and Kyler can do that, but that's not his game. That's not how he succeeds. He uses his escapability, his mobility to win within the pocket and give those guys time to get open and then hit open receivers after he's created time for them. And so it just doesn't really mesh with Kevin O'Connell that well. But if Kevin O'Connell brings him in, I trust him. That's, like I said, Kevin O'Connell's the gospel here. Like, if he says something, I believe it entirely. I trust this dude. Every decision he has made by himself, as strictly him, has been dead nuts on. And please do that. Yeah, I trust him completely. He's getting full control of the personnel on offense throughout the draft and offseason until they hire a general manager. And I love that. I think that's a wonderful decision. He's a super smart guy, and I think he's gonna succeed at the highest level. So the Sam Darnold thing sucks, but we've talked about this. I'm happy for Sam. It sucks because I get a lot of people that are like, are you sad or pissed that Sam Darnold won? No, not at all. Like, he is a great guy, and we've talked the Seahawks as a team are better than the Vikings as a team. You don't just pluck that and put that there, and then it's the same.
And
right?
then the Vikings win this year.
Yeah, and then the Vikings. I don't believe that's the case. I do think the Vikings are a lot better than people because of all the memes and the McCarthyism from the beginning of the year. He went 5-0 to end the season. The team played really well to end the season. And if not for, quite literally, if not for the Bears kick return getting down to the 35-yard line with 20 seconds left in the game, the Vikings win the division. Like, if everything stays the same except for that game, Vikings win the division, which is crazy to think about. The NFC North was that close. Like, it came down to that play. So it's just one of those things that, they were half a game out of the playoffs because the Packers couldn't beat the Cowboys, which I still think is the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah, if the Cowboys just can beat the Packers, the Vikings are in the playoffs, which sucks because I hate both those teams. They somehow screwed me over. But you guys got any questions for me this week? We're going to start going over draft stuff next week. We'll start reviewing some mock draft for the teams. Anything else you got? All right. Well, like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.